Welcome into Texans Today here on day 3 of the NFL Draft. And Nick Caserio said, "You thought I was going to stop making trades? You really thought I was going to stop making trades?" Well, Nick Caserio made another move. He moved up and I think surprised a lot of people, drafting running back Woody Marks from USC. The USC-Iowa State connection, the red jersey connection is real for the Texans in this draft. I think this surprises a lot of people because they brought in other running backs or top 30 visits. They brought in, Jayden Blue, Brashard Smith, both still on the board for the Texans, and they go ahead and take somebody in Woody Marks. I might have, wanted them to take somebody like a Marcus Bow, the guard from Purdue, but I'm not mad at the pick because the Texans are adding to this offense, and they are adding weapons around CJ Stroud and for new offensive coordinator Nick Caley. I'm so pumped to see how this Texans offense looks next year. Woody Marks, 5'10" and 1/8, 213 pounds, built like a freight train, 198 carries this past year, over 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns for Marks. I mean, he's somebody who I think can really add to this Texans running back room. I'm excited to see what Woody Marks can do. Our draft expert, Tom Downey, wasn't as high on him, was his 23rd ranked running back, 202 overall, a former track athlete, which if you know anything about the Texans and their search for another running back this offseason, they want speed, and that's what you're getting with somebody in Woody Marks. More career receptions than plenty of wide receivers in this draft. They wanted somebody with speed who could catch the ball out of the backfield. That is exactly what you get in Woody Marks. This is what Dane Brugler of The Athletic had to say on Woody Marks as well. He said, "Marks has only average explosiveness and speed, but his low-to-the-ground run style, sharp run angles make him tough to get on the ground. His pass-catching skills and impact on third downs will ensure him a role in an NFL backfield." And that's what the Texans need him for. The Texans need him for those third down situations where they maybe get Joe Mixon out of the game, give him a little bit of a break, and they allow Woody Marks and this Texans offense to run. I love the pick. I love the pick of Woody Marks. Let me know down in the comment section. Grade the pick for the Houston Texans. Go down there, A, B, C, D, or F. What do you grade the selection of Woody Marks? I'm going to give this one a B-. A B-. Maybe he could have gone a little bit later. I know Mel Kiper was a little bit higher on Woody Marks than guys like Brugler, than guys, like our guy here at Chat Sports, Tom Downey. I give it a B. I like the pick. It's not somebody that's going to be a day one starter, but he adds to this offense for your Texans offense with new offensive coordinator Nick Caley. I'm excited to see where they go because you look at the running back room, and could this spell an end for Dameon Pierce? That's my biggest question with this pick as well, because we knew the Texans were looking at running back in this draft. They re-signed Dario Gumbawale, who really helps out in special teams. Do they keep Dameon Pierce as somebody, maybe push him over to that fullback role where British Brooks and Jakob Johnson are? I don't know, but you add in Woody Marks to this room, and it's getting a little crowded. You have Joe Mixon. That's the only person I'm 100% on in this Texans running back room at the moment. I like the pieces we have. And I like Joe Mixon and adding somebody like a Marks. But, like I said, he's somebody who is exactly the profile that the Texans wanted, exactly who they were looking for with this selection, because they really wanted to add somebody who can really take the top off on third downs. And Woody Marks is somebody who I think could do that for this Texans team. Maybe they didn't need to trade up, and that's another part of this whole equation is, the fact that they did trade up to get a guy in Woody Marks. I mean, did they need to trade up? Maybe not. Maybe they didn't necessarily need to trade up for him, but, a 4.5 40-yard dash, I think he plays a lot faster than his testing numbers too. I do think he plays a lot faster, and what's most important is he is a great catcher of the football. He's somebody who's going to come in and be a really good receiving weapon from the backfield. I think that's what this Texans team wanted. We'll talk about more around the other picks the Texans have made and everything going on around the draft, the latest picks that have happened. As I'm filming this, the Steelers just selected Jack Sawyer, edge from Ohio State. But before we do, got to show some love to today's sponsor, Game Time. Rockets against Warriors. You know I'm going with Houston, baby. Houston basketball. If you are in Houston and you want to get tickets for that game, hell, if you're in the Bay Area and you're trying to go rep Houston in enemy territory, you got to do so with our friends over at Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Texans Today and Chat Sports. You can save a ton, up to 60% off buying tickets for sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and more. All you got to do is use our friends over at Game Time. I love the Game Time picks and the all-in pricing. As you see on the left picture right there, it basically filters out the fluff and shows you the best deals on the app and the all-in pricing. The price you see is the price you get. You don't have to worry about getting bamboozled with last-minute fees. They got you covered. And my other favorite thing, if you look at that center picture, the Astros, it shows you whenever they're having special nights, like if they're having a bobblehead night, if they're having, anything in particular that night, it shows you in advance so you can kind of schedule that out of what game you want to go to. One more time, our friends over at Game Time are giving you the best deal on the internet, $20 off your first purchase whenever you use code CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. Once again, $20 off your first purchase when you use that code CHATSPORTS at checkout. Terms apply, but hey, they have the best deals on the internet. If you're trying to make lasting moments, if you're trying to have a great time and create great memories with your friends, go ahead and check out our friends over at Game Time. Thank you for being the sponsor of today's program. Let's kind of look at where the Texans are at now. They selected Woody Marks, and on day 2 of the draft, this is what they came out with. Jayden Higgins, Jalen Noel, the duo from Iowa State, Aireontae, Ersery, where I'm telling you this, guys, the more film, the more tape I'm watching on Ersery, the more I absolutely love the pick. I think he might be one of the steals of this draft and could possibly be your Texans starting left tackle for the foreseeable future. I think they maybe start him at left guard this year because they have Cam Robinson, but slowly moving him to left tackle, I think he's going to be a great player. Jaylin Smith, cornerback from USC, that USC connection strong, and I do wonder, Kalen Bullock, who was teammates with Jaylin Smith and Woody Marks, was hanging out with Jaylin Smith yesterday at his draft party when he got drafted. Is that partially the reason why? Maybe, maybe not. But I do know Nick Caserio does listen to his guys. D'Amico Ryans does listen to his guys in the building. And they probably asked Kalen, what do you think of Jaylin Smith? What do you think of Woody Marks? What do you think of these guys that you played with? And probably gave them some rave reviews. So I hope it does work out. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing that, some of these guys might have some input on, who the team drafts later on or who they maybe add. The same thing happens in free agency when we're talking about guys recruiting guys to come play for Houston. You see it all the time. And I want to know from y'all folks at home, who do you want the Texans to draft next? Because I was thinking maybe, defensive tackle Joshua Farmer still on the board. I wouldn't mind the Texans trading up to get him. I think, maybe another defensive tackle, maybe another offensive lineman. Like I said, I was thinking maybe a Luke Newman or a Marcus Bow, but wasn't in the cards. Here's the best available as Shedeur Sanders continues to fall. Shedeur continues to fall down this board. Alec Io Manor, wide receiver from Stanford. This is the guy I was talking about. Marcus Bow. I was really wondering, when he's going, because I think still a pretty good guard on the market right here for you. Jalen Royal, somebody who was getting round 2, round 3 buzz, still on the board. Dylan Sampson, running back from Tennessee. Texans obviously already drafted their running back. Cameron Williams, Braden Swinson, some other guys. But like I said, the positions I want to focus on is O-line and D-line and maybe linebacker as well. Also maybe tight end, because Texans' new OC, Nick Caley, a former tight ends coach. These are the top tight ends on the board. I really like Aireontae Gadsden the second, Mitchell Evans as well. Some late-round steals, in my opinion. The best offensive linemen still on the board here, the best tackles. Texans had a top 30 visit with Chase Hunt. Look out for his name as well as somebody like a Marcus Bow, Miles Frazier, Jalen Rivers could be in the cards later on. And I said, where is he? Oh, Luke Kandra, Cincinnati. Oh, I thought that was going to be Luke Newman. But the Texans have met with a lot of these guys coming up, so could be interesting to see where they go here in the future. And I think, the top defensive tackle still on the board, Joshua Farmer. The Texans met with him. Jordan Phillips, a pretty decent player as well. I think you could get some good value at defensive tackle if you take somebody here. And then linebacker. Christian Harris on the last year of his deal. You signed E.J. Speed. Then you have Azeez Al-Shire, Henry Toto. Maybe adding another guy late in the late rounds could be an interesting option for the Houston Texans. Now, that's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Make sure if you made it to the very end of the video, hit that subscribe button. I'll be bringing you more videos around the Houston Texans, more draft videos all day long. Tomorrow, UDFAs throughout the week, free agency news and rumors. We keep you covered here on everything you need to know around the Houston Texans. And one more time before I get out on this video, Golden State, you got it coming. H-Town, hold it down. The Rockets are coming into San Fran, into Golden State, and they're going to whoop up on the Warriors tonight. You best believe it.